Okay, so this is where we talk about the selection control structure. What the selection control structure does is it's a structure while the program is in execution. There are some statements that we want to execute conditionally. Okay, so that's basically the selection control structure. Before you watch this video, make sure you've watched the videos on operators, okay, especially that of the relational operations, okay, the relational operators. In that case, you'll get it the more, okay. All right. I'm not going to be using the operators over here, but more or less the concept. So this part talks about the control structure that helps us to execute some statement based on met conditions. Okay, so when a condition that is given is checked, or the condition is true, the set of items that come inside the body of that particular selection control structure is what we are talking about. We will only do specific items provided something is true. If it's going to rain, take your umbrella. So we only take the umbrella out only when it's going to rain. Okay. If he's a girl, hey, you don't have a he that is a girl. But if he is a girl, give her a dress. Hey, give him a dress. You understand what I'm trying to say? I forget about that example. Okay, let's get to business. All right, so a control structure, which is called the selection control structure, usually has this particular kind of form where we have a condition. You can think of selection control structure as a box that contains a list of statements. Okay, so the box is the one that I've labeled as the light blue, and these black stuff in here could be multiple. Those are the list of statements. And then there is a condition over here, just like the police barracks. When you get there and then your papers are not correct, they will not allow you to enter the box. Okay, so the box are the set of instructions that we want to execute provided that condition is true. So the example I give, if it's about to rain, pick an umbrella. This is the condition. Is it about to rain? That's why we check it. We check it in the green box. That's the condition. And then now we have the black box over here. And then the black box now talks about the statements that we want to execute, provided this condition is true. So imagine we are coming from the top, just like we saw in the sequence control. Imagine we are coming from the top and we get to this condition. Is it true? Is it green? If it is green, we will enter. If it is red, we will not enter. That's basically what the selection control is all about. It has a body, okay, and the body is what usually makes up the set of instructions that we want to execute. So I said that I've labeled this part the body of statements, okay, or the block of statements. You only pass this test if this is true before now you enter this block. So we have different kinds of selection control structure. We have different types. The first one is a simple if statement. We are going to take a look at it in the coming slides. The simple if statement, what it does is it checks just a condition. So coming from the top, if it's executing statement, it's going to check, is this condition met? If it's met, do this line and do this line. When you are done, jump out of the box. That's basically it. That is it. Then we have if else. We'll check, is the student behind the door, is it a male or a female? If it is a male, we are just checking if student is male, do whatever is in the light blue box. Else, whether it's not a male, it's a binary, whatever person behind the door, do what is inside this. So it could be a male or it could be anything at all. Or it could be any type of a gender. Or gender, I know, male and female. But if you think there's another item assigned a male, then whatever it is, do it over here. Then we have if else, if a particular thing, do so and so. Else if. So we have two conditions that we check. If it doesn't fall within these two conditions, we will not do anything at all. That's basically the if else if. So with all of them, we give conditions. With this, we only check for one condition. Anything else, that does not fall within this condition will now enter here. So imagine we are coming from the top. If it's about to rain, pick an umbrella. If it is false that it is not about to rain, if it is false that it's about to rain, it's not true, then instead of picking an umbrella, which is what is inside the light blue, we'll do whatever is inside the purple. Some call this one violet. Well, whichever one you call it. Basically, you get what I'm trying to say. And then now we have the if else if. The if else if, what it does is each particular block over here, or the body, comes with a condition. So when we check this condition, it is true, we'll do this. If we enter this box, we will not come to check this side again. So that's basically the difference between the if else and then the else if. Okay, it's not really a difference. The moment you enter one box, you can see these are part of a whole structure. If you enter this box and you execute whatever is inside it, you jump all that's inside the two of them. You jump everything and you go to the next statement that follows it. With this, we have if, else, if. There are two conditions that are checked. But moving from the top, we'll check this one first. Execute all the statements inside this. When we are done, we will jump out. But if this had been false, if this particular statement had been false, we would have moved, or we'll move to the next statement to check if it is true, then we'll do it. For illustration purposes, I just gave two examples. You can elongate this provided you have a lot more conditions to check. And then what will happen is it will check only the one that executes its condition to true. Okay, so if none of them gives a true condition or if a true boolean, then what is now, I forget about true boolean. Don't mark my grammar over here. What will now happen is it will skip all of them. If none of the conditions over here that are marked green tends to be true, it will skip all of the statements inside the respective blocks and then go to whichever statement that follows it. Over here, this is an example of the if else. We have multiple conditions, so we can see the if else if is used here. The same thing, we have a condition and a set of actions, condition, set of actions. But this one doesn't have a condition, so it means if you execute all the items over here and none of them was able to absorb the condition, then do whatever is in the last block, just like over here. If this doesn't absorb it, I will absorb it over here. So in this case, we check this condition. If it is true, we'll enter. When we are done doing whatever is inside here, we'll jump all these things and we'll come and execute whatever is here. But if any of these two picks it, then we will not do what is here. That's basically it. Just like we have the if statements, an if statement having a block can have another if statement embedded in it. So these red and brown things you see inside the blocks are statements that we'll have to execute. Okay. Let's take a look at an example. So with a simple if, we check a condition. If it's, let me write it in small letters. So there is a statement which is usually given. And then the statement says, it's about to rain. But you, the user, looking at the code, is it true that it's about to rain? If it is true that it's about to rain, then do this set of actions. So over here, we put actions here. The first action will be pick an umbrella. Okay, run for shelter. Alright, so provided it's about to rain, then do these set of items. So let me bring this one down. Imagine you are singing up here, you are singing, and then while you are singing, that's actually the first statement. Okay, so you start singing. There is a condition or there is a block over here which you would want to check. Is it about to rain? I'm singing, I'm going by somewhere, and then now I meet this block. Is it about to rain? If it's not about to rain, or if this statement over here in this condition is false, if it's not about to rain, then I will not pick an umbrella. I will not run for shelter. So basically, I will not enter this block. let me use this to sort of explain. So the block that I did in the previous slide is basically, so let me give a shape and outline of, yeah. So basically what I have here is this if has a block or it has a body. If what is here is true, then we will enter the box. If it is not true, we will not enter the box. For those from mathematics background, let me just do it in a math form for you to get. If I have a variable called x and x is equal to 2, now for you to check whether the statement inside here is supposed to be printed, what you now do is, if the value of x, we want to check if the value of x is equal to 4, then what I want you to do now is to print it is true that x is 4. In this case, this is a condition that we check for. Okay, and the condition now is, now you can see there's a block of the if. The condition now says that if the value of x is equal to the value 4, then print it is true that x is 4. But you can see that x was set to 2. So when we come here and we check, is the value of x the same as the value of 4? We will see that we will have a false value. Like we will get a false. It will evaluate to a false. There's a preposition. So it will evaluate to false. And when it evaluates to false, we will not enter this box to be able to print whatever is here. Okay. So that's it with a simple if. Let's go to another one, which we term as the else if statement. Duplicate. So this will be else if dot 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 else. If you don't understand dot dot dot, you can go and find out. So we have x is equal to 2, and then we are checking, is x equal to 4? If x is equal to 4, then do whatever is inside here. Else, okay. Now the else that I brought here does not have a condition with it. So the else that I brought here doesn't have a condition with it. And hold on, let me do this, and I'll be able to explain. This else doesn't have a condition. Right. Good. So we will end our if here. This is basically the body of the else. So if it is not true that x is equal to 4, then I'm going to say x is not equal to 4. In this case, they are claiming that x is 4. But if it is not true that x is 4, then come here and then print what is in here rather. So the else will execute if the if statements above it do not catch the flow of execution. Okay, so if you are coming from the top and this becomes true, we will not execute what is here. Okay, there was a statement down here saying something like this: print it is finished. The moment we get here and then this is true, we will print x is 4. And when we are done, we will not come into the else block. What we will now do is we will print it is finished on the screen. But when we are coming and then this does not evaluate to true, they are saying that x is equal to 4, but x is not equal to 4. X is rather 2. So what we will do now is we will come to the next block, which is the else block, and then say x is not equal to 4, and we will write it is finished. So if you don't enter this box and you enter this one, when you leave, you need to execute the next statement that follows the box. That is basically what we mean when we talk about the decision making control structure or the selection control structure. Spoken quite a long time, but you understand me.